respected director, deans, heads of various departments, faculty members and residents, a very good afternoon to all of you. On behalf of AIIMS Jodhpur, I welcome you all for this special lecture and request that we all comply with social distancing guidelines. I invite Professor Sanjeev Mishra, Director and CEO, AIIMS Jodhpur, to introduce our distinguished dignitary.
We request all the students to come forward because there's a lot of empty seats this side. So, good afternoon everyone. On behalf of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences and all the faculty, residents, students and everybody from the administration, it's a matter of great honor and privilege to have among us Dr. Dharmendra Singh Gangwar, who's the Additional Secretary and Financial Advisor in the Ministry of Health, Government of India. And he's very kindly consented to give a talk on how to be a great doctor. Something very brief about Dr. Gangwar. Dr. Gangwar is a medical doctor. He did his MBBS and was a gold medalist from the King George's Medical College, Lucknow. And he's had over 33 years of experience in policy formation and implementation at different levels in the central and state governments across the country. Besides being a medical doctor, Dr. Gangwar also went on to do his Masters in Business Administration from IIM Ahmedabad. And he's been trained also at the Harvard Kennedy School in USA on behavioral insights in public policy, in public financial management at the Duke University, USA, and has been a speaker on different forums at different AIIMS at different institutions across the country. He's held several posts of great importance, different levels in his career. But even though being a doctor and now going into the administration, his love of being a doctor and his passion for being a doctor still continues. I have personally known him now almost for nearly 4 decades when I joined the medical school. And he was my senior in the medical school. That was time when he didn't join the service, and he was striving to take an effort to join. He left his MD in medicine. He was one of the toppers of his batch, but he decided to pursue a different path. It's again a pleasure to have Dr. Gangwar, and I invite him to give his talk and enlighten us about how to be a great doctor. Dr. Gangwar, sir. Laptop.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev, for giving me this privilege to be invited here among the medical institutions. And as he told you, I went back 40 years back in 1980 in such a great institution, King George Medical College, Lucknow, which is now an university. And we were together in at medical institutions. So many times when I share this interaction with our students in AIIMS and other medical colleges, many times people ask me this question that coming from a medical to bureaucratic background, what are the experiences and how you want to pay back? So somehow this presentation has been 40 years in making, so treated like an experiential journey of last 40 years from 1980 onwards. And I wish I was, when entering into King George Medical College University, somebody would have made a presentation here. I would not have changed the track from medicine to bureaucracy. But somehow we missed that presentation. At that time, I thought that I will pay back to my original institution. Can I have that presentation? In the meanwhile, we can switch off our mobile phones, because this is an experiential presentation based on 40 years experience of medical and global and national and local level experiences, in addition to my experience being a policymaker in Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So if we switch off this mobile, the rules will be that it will be an interactive one, and then in the last we will have a 15-minute question session, so it satisfies all the queries which generates. It is an experiential and psychological presentation. It is not cognitive or knowledge-driven presentation. So you need to feel it, and I need to have it here. Okay, so first of all, congratulations to Dr. Sanjeev and his team that the Jodhpur AIIMS was the first lot of PMSSY set up multi-specialty medical institution, and it had come up so well that when I was coming here, I was reading the performance report of AIIMS Jodhpur, that I must congratulate the faculty here that they have created a very well wonderful national institution. Now from a wonderful national institution, how can AIIMS Jodhpur become a great institution? Great institution in the great traditions of world's great medical institution, like my alma mater from where me and Sanjeev both belong to. So how can a medical institution become a great institution? It can become a great institution by producing great doctors, as simple as that. So this is, they connect to this lecture, that this lecture is not only focused to individual students and residents and doctors here, but also to the administration and faculty here. To become a great medical institution, the essence is we need to learn the method and the secret and the mechanism by which global level medical institutions produce great doctors. So this is the context, because many times people confuse that it might be simply a motivational lecture to become a great doctor. No, it has got a theme that to become a great medical institution, we must adopt the knowledge and practices of great medical institution to the goal of creating a great doctor. Many times we confuse. We are creating physicians, we are creating doctors, we are creating specialists. William Osler, anybody knows William Osler? Heard about him? Learned about him? Yes, sir. William Osler is father of modern medical sciences. He was the founding professor of Johns Hopkins University. He wrote the first textbook of modern medical sciences in 1885, and he is worldwide recognized as father of modern medicine. William Osler in 1885 gave an interesting definition. The good physician treats the disease, the great physician treats the patient who has the disease. That is a subtle difference. Because being in the health ministry, we see the pattern of pedagogy which is happening, the pattern of entrance exams which are happening in medical institutions based on MCQ model of NEET, UG and PG. Somehow we are missing the basic goal that a great physician is not trained only for diagnosis and therapeutics, he is trained to heal the patient. So to become a great doctor, we must understand that the great physician treats the patient who has the disease. Now, with that introduction or preface, this presentation has got 3 sections. First, we will understand what are the attributes of a great doctor in the first section, then nurturing wisdom in the medical institution, and the third section is how will you become a great doctor as a nurturing student in this institution. What are the attributes of a great doctor? While we are in school, in the medical undergrads, our focus is on the left hand side of this slide, that is the science, the scientific understanding, the scientific method, the evidence-based medicine and scientific and technical knowledge. But this is only a technical judgment. To become a great doctor, you need much more than technical judgment. It is the clinical judgment, and this comes from right hand side of the presentation. Human judgment. How do you judge a particular patient in a particular situation? This right hand side leads to that greatness into the physician's attribute. Why? We will discuss further following slides. So, to achieve a clinical judgment, we need the left hand side, that is science of medicine, and we need the right hand side, that is the art of medicine. And what could be the ratio between the two? Any senior faculty, how do you attribute the ratio between science and art? 50-50 looks a simplistic solution to the problem. Any other view? How much is the science, how much is the art? 40 is science and art 60. We will see. We will see. Because unless we understand this particular aspect, that how much is the science, how much is the art, we will not be able to build up our pedagogy, our learning of our cognitive system. So let me ask the most fundamental question. All of you are a student of science, so therefore I have deliberately kept this title, Is Medicine Science? What do you think? How many of you think medicine is science? You can raise hand, it is nothing to... How many of you think medicine is science? How many of you think medicine is not science? 1. Okay. So there is only 1%, 2% who think 3, who think medicine is not science. Most of you are thinking medicine is science. Let me ask those who are thinking medicine is science, why do you think medicine is science? Why do you think medicine is science? Anybody? Let us make it interactive. Then you will learn something more. Mike, please.
Basically, learning comes from the science.
Yes.
Art comes next.
Yes.
So, science is first.
Yes.
On that, we develop our art.
Perfect. So that is, I believe everybody understands or agrees with that explanation of medicine is a science, that since we learned science in high school and intermediate, we wrote physics, chemistry, biology in NEET, UG and PG, we were taught anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, pathology, etc., etc. Therefore it is science. Is it so? Let me see. To address this question that is medicine science, we need to go into the basic. What is the aims of science? What is the aims of science? What is the aims of medicine? And how both are coming together in this particular practice. Here is a counter editorial in a famous medical journal, which is a thought-provoking one. Has medicine become a science? It is a thought-provoking one. Has medicine become a science? And when has it become a science? Because anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, pathology, etc. are only 200 years old. Was not a medicine as a practice before that? To go into that question, I would refer everybody to read this editorial. All of you are Google experts. Of course, not in this class, after this. Kindly read this article, because my today's article is not on this basic issue of is medicine science or has it become a science. So you read it, Google it. It is in Swiss Medical Journal. I like this very much. But my focus today is on not the science, but on the greatness of a doctor. But it is a question worth pondering and thinking over. All of you must download this article, read. Has medicine become a science? Okay, so we will see. We will see in subsequent slide. Again, William Osler, the same William Osler, father of modern medicine. Medicine is a science of uncertainty and an art of probability. Imagine, he wrote this 150 years back. 150 years back. Medicine is a science of uncertainty and an art of probability. Now let us go back to that ratio and see how many of you, if you agree with this propositional statement, believe that medicine is science or art. Science of uncertainty and an art of probability. Let me quote from 2-3 global and our own national level associations of medical professionalism. Then we will see into the aims and objectives of our medical practice which we do. This is the American Board of Internal Medicine Foundation. For many, medical professionalism is the heart and soul of medicine. More than the adherence to a set of medical ethics, it is the daily expression of what originally attracted them to the field of medicine. A desire to help people, a desire to help society as a whole by providing quality health care. So medical professionalism is the heart and soul of medicine. Now what is that? Our own Indian Medical Council was much more explicit in identifying the aims and objectives of medical profession. The prime object of medical profession is to render service to humanity. Reward or financial gain is a subordinate consideration. Whosoever chooses his profession assumes the obligation to conduct himself in accordance with its ideals. A physician should be an upright man instructed in the art of healings. I have deliberately underlined this key word. How many of our pedagogy or medical curriculum is focused on art of healing? Out of 100 in 5.5 years in the art of healing. Into the science of medicine, maybe 99%. Art of healing, only 1%. But the basic goal of medical profession is art of healing. What is that? So, if we agree on this proposition, that aim of medicine as a profession is to heal the person who walks into the clinic, then how do we do it here? In the medical institution, as an academic institution, how do we nurture this clinical wisdom of art of healing? So what is wisdom? Wisdom, this is an interesting quote from T.S. Eliot, which I like much, and which I generally notice from our pedagogical content. Where is the wisdom we have lost in knowledge? Where is the knowledge we have lost in information? So if we see, right from our school education, the 11th and 12th, and our NEET UG, and our anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, too much information, some knowledge, and wisdom is a default option. It is assumed that one will acquire wisdom just by we are giving him knowledge or information. In the period of Google, etc., even knowledge and information is now only one click away. So what is this clinical wisdom which I am hinting at? Now let me go into the nitty-gritty of medicine as a profession. When you are sitting in clinic or bedside, the basic dilemmas which you face each and every day in each and every individual case. How do you balance truth and care? How do you balance honesty and kindness? How do you balance empathy and detachment? How do you figure out the right way to do the right thing in a particular circumstance with a particular patient at a particular time? This is what William Osler said, that it is art of probability. Just by knowing 1001 regions of lump in abdomen does not equip you to treat the next available patient with lump in abdomen. You will spend your entire time with him in ruling out those 1001 causes which you might have learned in a knowledge and information intensive curriculum without having the wisdom to heal that person. So can there be a science for this? Now let me try to elicit a response. We have studied the anatomy, the physics and chemistry of molecules, the atoms and subatomic particles. And we know the subatomic particles from science side. But can there be a science of an individual electron? Heisenberg says that it is an particle and wave together, and the same instance, the moment you start observing, it becomes a particle. The moment you don't observe, it becomes a wave. So can there be a science of individual electron? Because it works into the Heisenberg's uncertainty or Max Planck's uncertain universe. I deliberately took that example of electron and Heisenberg uncertainty because to me it exactly applies to each and individual case which walks into clinic in a particular moment. So that's why I deliberately write this. How do we figure out the right way to do the right thing in a particular circumstance with a particular patient at a particular time? That is what the wise physicians say, it comes into the art portion of medical practice. It cannot be taught from the science side. Same way the Heisenberg says, you cannot predict the position of electron. The individual patient has got a variety of probabilities and uncertainty out of which the exact outcome will come from your understanding of this probabilistic fallout of that particular case. So, which path will you choose? There are three paths to achieve clinical wisdom. Confucius says. The first is by reflection, which I am doing right now. The second is by imitation, which you model your role model faculty here. And the third is by experience, which is the bit rest. Generally, we leave our students on the third path of acquiring wisdom by the bit rest path rather than through the imitation and reflection. Why do Confucius say the experience is the bit rest way to achieve wisdom? It's like this. 2,400 years back, Hippocrates gave the first principle of medical practice. Primum non nocere. First, do no harm. And I still wonder after 2,400 years that why did he say like this? First, do no harm. Just, I was asking in one of other AIIMS where I was delivering this to the house, that how much harm do we conduct once the patient comes inside the premises. So the responses range between 10% to 35%. In the range of medical errors, the range of wrong diagnosis, the range of maldiagnosis, and the range of idiopathic, the iatrogenic harms which we do. And then somebody last week told me that a scientific study has been done in different medical settings that these findings can go right up to 45% of harm in a medical setting. Amazing. We are not aware because we don't follow a case on long-term basis. The patient comes, we transact. So that might be the reason why Hippocrates said first do no harm. If the 45% is the figure of errors in medical settings, and they come from the basic quotation of probability and uncertainty. Because we have not groomed our the budding students and the young residents to think in probabilistic terms, they go from the different knowledge or information intensive mechanism that these errors occur. So this is a very big finding that in a medical setting, even in the most advanced medical setting, country like America, the medical errors are said to be 20 to 22% in a medical setup. They come from not understanding the probabilistic nature of medical care. So here is a three-dimensional wisdom model, that how do you acquire this clinical wisdom to be a great physician into the art of healing. The first, on the left-hand side, the cognitive dimension, ability to perceive reality as it is, compassionate dimension, and a reflective dimension. The three dimensions together which create that ability to appreciate the art of healing. I will go into depth of these three dimensions of clinical wisdom. The cognitive dimension, which we are very happy in our clinical education setup. Even this has got three dimensions, subsets. Knowledge, know what, skills, know how, and attitude, know why. We are very happy in teaching the knowledge in our lectures, demonstration seminars, the skills in our bedside practice, but we have rarely taken or addressed the basic issue of attitude in medical setting. And this is ability to perceive reality as it is, not as I perceive. That is where those medical errors come from, when we try to perceive the reality from my cognitive filters as compared to as it is. That is where the diagnostic errors and the treatment errors arise. So there are three aspects of this dimension. Knowledge is the first one. The science of learning. Learning or knowledge progresses through different deeper levels. The first one is technical domain knowledge that you are taught in the undergrad and postgraduate level. The factual and procedural knowledge. The explicit and tacit knowledge. But that is only the first level of knowledge. Once you go into the practice, either as faculty or consultant, you start developing the deep smarts, the experienced repertoire and the intuitive expertise. That comes only by experience of handling 10,000 and more cases of a particular presentation. Then you tend to appreciate the probabilistic distribution of different diagnoses in the society. So this deep smarts is the second level of knowledge acquiring. Third level is developing a big picture understanding. When we were in college, we used to have our professor who used to appreciate the diagnosis right from the stage the patient used to walk. The last level, which is the ultimate level, is the consilience, it is a term from philosophy, synthesis of knowledge from different specialized fields to develop a unity of knowledge. Why is it important to develop that unity of knowledge? Because patient comes to you with a plethora of symptoms and signs. There are more than 60,000 identified diseases in the International Classification of Diseases. So with more than 60,000 diseases, a probability into that particular patient, how do you learn this? Just imagine, there are 60,000 diseases, 60,000 plus. I think last ICD revision was 64 or 65,000. 64,000 diseases in one person. No wonder there are 45% errors in cognitive biases in medical diagnosis, because we tend to see that person not as it is, but as I understand him to be. The course for which I went to Harvard Kennedy School, it was on behavioral insights, on public policy, but is as well applicable to any walk of life. There they have identified and taught us more than 190 cognitive biases which we occur during our everyday interaction. More than 190 biases. And I will give you one example. Suppose in my undergrad examination of the long question, the hepatomegaly was a viral hepatitis. Rest of life, whenever I get the first case of hepatomegaly, the first suspicion will be, that is called anchoring bias. You are sitting in OPD, you get 3 continuous cases of dengue, and the 4th one comes there, which is not from that family, not locality. The first diagnosis which you think is, because you have seen the previous 3 diagnoses of dengue, the 4th one you think as dengue, although it could be absolutely independent one. There are more than 190 such biases which filter our perception of reality, out of which the medical reality is a substantive one because it touches the human life. And how do you acquire this wisdom not to get distorted by your own biases and see the patient as it is, requires a definite pedagogical skills and knowledge and the curriculum, which I will discuss in subsequent slide. So this consilience is the ultimate word in epistemology. Epistemology, the science of learning, that you acquire knowledge from different disciplines and then apply into a particular situation. Second aspect of that cognitive dimension of wisdom is skills, experience and wisdom. The art of learning and lifelong learning. First, we are aware the cognitive skills. We are taught every day in our classrooms and bedside clinics and OPDs, analytical and problem solving skills. I am much more worried about the second bullet point, the listening skills. Somebody has commented in a witty way that now diagnosis is shifting from ears to eyes. When in 1980 we joined the clinical portals of King George Medical University, our focus was on history taking, listening to patient for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, listening by ears. Now I believe, and it has been scientifically studied by medical professionals, it takes only 40 seconds of hearing in OPD and you start writing the diagnosis and prescription. So the time of 30 minutes of history taking has been reduced to 14 seconds. That is the research. And the diagnosis which used to be done by hearing is now shifting to eyes. That means screens, the Google, the CT scans, the pathological reports, and you believe that you have diagnosed. Therefore, my suspicion is, and this is my experiential suspicion, the more we will shift from diagnosis by ears to diagnosis by eyes, more will be the cognitive biases coming into this system. William Osler has given a wonderful quote. Just now I remember. He said, listen to your patient. He is telling you the diagnosis. Listen to your patient. He is telling you the diagnosis. Why did he say like this? Because if I am 58-year-old, who is the best person to tell the evaluation of my health and medical condition in last 58 years? Nothing better than me. Unless you create a digital replica of me in the National Digital Health Mission in next 50 years, who is the best person to tell you my medical history of last 58 years? Other than me? And whenever I talk to any faculty about any of my medical condition, they jump to differential diagnosis. I said, first listen my story. I got a small hyperkeratotic patch on my skin. I went to AIIMS. I met the number 1, 2 and 3 of dermatology. And all three gave 3 different diagnoses. I said 1 hyperkeratotic patch and 3 diagnoses in the highest apex institution in country. So I asked the number 1, sir, why don't you simply take a biopsy here and understand why this hyperkeratotic patch? I'm not bothered about 3 diagnoses of allergic dermatitis or whatever. I'm bothered if it is something malignant. They said, no, we don't prescribe biopsy here. I said, but I am requesting you to do a diagnosis. First you 3 come to some similar conclusion of 1 small hyperkeratotic patch. Why? Because they were thinking or seeing me from their experience of last 30 years, 40 years. I'm not undermining that experience, don't underestimate. But they are expert of their profession, I am expert of my body. There is no doubt about it. If I am a 58-year-old man, fully intelligent, understand, who is the best person to tell you this story? So William Osler said, listen to the patient, he is telling you the diagnosis. So that's why I have spent this much time here. Listening skills, diagnosis is shifting from ears to eyes. I would urge the faculty and administration here, kindly shift back, at least in AIIMS Jodhpur, back from eyes to ears. Communication, counseling, leadership skills, etc., etc. The last one, practical skills. Learning by doing yourself. Observing senior professionals, modeling and mentoring by teachers, experiences and moral sensibilities leads to the clinical wisdom of a great doctor. How can that be cultivated? The third dimension, I said, I'm going one by one in a systematic manner. The cognitive dimension, knowledge, skills and attitude. If somebody asks me one thing to be taught in a medical institution, I will say you create a curriculum for generating the attitude of healing. The science will be taken care of by Googles. This mindset that why do I work as a medical professional is the most important thing. There are 2 ways of mindset, a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. A strong desire for personal growth, a positive mental attitude to serve the patient. Now, that was the cognitive dimension. Now I am going into the second dimension, the compassionate dimension, which is very important for all of you to understand. Like all of you have read the Binet-Simon intelligence quotient. There is a much bigger intelligence than IQ is the emotional intelligence, which is called emotional quotient. The ability to monitor one's own and other feelings and emotions, to discriminate among them and to use this information to guide one's thinking and action. Now there is an interesting study in the bottom side. All of us know that when we were in high school, those who were of high intelligence or high IQ selected the science stream. In that, those who were high IQ, intelligent, they got into CPMT, PMT or NEET, UG. So there is no doubt that IQ of an average citizen and IQ of doctor, if you compare, then difference of 20 intelligence quotient. Shocking and surprising for those who are not into this profession is the lower one. The emotional quotient of an average citizen is 100, but emotional quotient of a doctor is less than 100. This is a research finding. It is not my personal observation. Wherever I am doing personal observation, I am sharing that is my personal. There is a scientific study. They compared the IQ of doctors with the citizen. Citizen average 100, doctors 120. But when they go into the emotional quotient dimension, average citizen 100, doctors 90. Looks very counterintuitive. The doctors are in medical profession, supposedly a healing, caring profession. Then how come emotional intelligence is less than the population? Any guesses for this? Any guesses for this? Why emotional quotient of doctors is less than citizens? Yes, so it is a mechanical way of applying that information and knowledge which he keep him teaching him into the first, second, third, fourth professional, that he doesn't pay attention into the emotional aspect of this situation. Any other guess? Why EQ? This is a scientific study, so let us not doubt this finding that doctors' emotional quotient is less than the citizens. So if that is correct, I am going into this argument, then what could be the reason why doctors' EQ is less than citizens? Any other? But cognitive biases, sir, this is affective bias. This is affective, not cognitive. Anybody from psychiatry and psychology here? Psychiatry or psychology, any resident? Okay. Human mind or human body is an evolutionary marvel. Human body, the pinnacle of Homo sapiens over last millions of years, is the ultimate wisdom which evolution and nature has created. And this evolution, like we see in the normal immunity of antibodies and the humoral and the T lymphocyte and B lymphocyte, etc., is also there in our mind, which is a psychological defense mechanism, which you can understand as a immunity in mind. That means, like the normal biological immunity, the more antigen you get, the more antibody you develop. Similarly, there is a psychological defense mechanism in our evolutionary system that our mind shuts down, because every day we see the pain and agony. There is a psychological defense reaction which leads to the lower level of emotional cost. Do you agree with this? This is my explanation. A psychological defense mechanism that prevents me from feeling the pain in each and every case, and that leads to something like a numbing of my sensibilities and sensitivities as a doctor. This is an important finding, because we need to gear up our pedagogy, our technical teaching, etc., just to bring it at least to the level of citizen, if not more. Because if our proposition is correct, that the basic premise of a medical practitioner or a great doctor is a master of art of healing, then we need to first heal. What was the first chapter, I think, in that clinical science book? What was that? Which we used to read in medicine, clinical Hutchinson. In the edition which we read in 1984-85, the quote which I read, I don't know whether now it is in which first page or last page. Physician, heal thyself. Anybody read that? Physician, heal thyself. That was a quote. Right? It is still there in that textbook. Hutchison or Davidson, anybody? Okay. Physician, heal thyself was the one important key statement. Before healing the patient, heal yourself. And heal yourself from this emotional, what should I say, this emotional sub-intelligence, emotional insensitivity. That is how I think that word has been coined, physician, heal thyself. So if that is the situation, then we need to do something about it in our medical setup. There is a wonderful book. I would recommend that it should be a prescribed reading in the course which I am subsequently recommending here, the Daniel Goleman, he popularized this concept of emotional intelligence. Why it can matter more than the IQ. And the research which has been quoted in this particular book is, it's a world famous bestseller book, mega bestseller book, that in real life, in every profession, including medical profession, it is the 80% emotional intelligence and only 20% the intelligence quotient of Simon Binet-Barrett. 80% success in any profession depends on your emotional intelligence. Why is it so? You will appreciate this in next two slides. What is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is the ability to identify our own emotions and those of others, to self-motivate ourselves and know how to monitor our emotions and those of the people around us. These are the four identified by the psychologists and the psychiatrists areas of emotional intelligence. There are different domains. There are the self-awareness, there are 4 domains, in the self-management 4 domains, social awareness 4 domains, and relationship management 4 domains. So these 16 domains have got their own pedagogical method to develop the emotional intelligence in people. Now, that was the second dimension of wisdom. Now the third dimension, the reflective dimension, is from this famous painting, The Doctor, on the left hand side. This is how you reflect on a particular patient, in a particular case, in a particular moment. Ability to look at phenomena and events from different perspectives requires self-examination, self-awareness and self-insight. Now, if those were the 3 dimensions which I just enclosed, the cognitive dimension, the empathetic dimension and the reflective dimension, how do the institute nurture the dimension in the undergrad and postgraduate student? Here are few suggestions in next 2 slides for the faculty here. What can this institute do? First, create a culture of care in the institute. Each and every patient matters, whatever may be his condition or his complaint or his problem. Identify and award best instances of outstanding patient care. I will give one example of a patient care which I still recall from my heart. It was my civil service examination day, and I was junior resident in medicine. So our chief resident did not give me any leave, because resident supposedly 3-year compulsory. So I asked him, sir, can you simply give me 1 day casual leave on the day I have got exam? He said, okay. So I got myself posted in the isolation ward of medicine, because that was slightly under, what should I say, underworked or under percent in that way, before the mains examination of IAS in 1987. And in the evening, my team was there. I was junior resident. My team of house officer and interns and nursing staff were there. So I told them, tomorrow I have got an examination paper. Please don't disturb me. Resident and others are important. So I was studying in the ward, in the doctor room for my next day exam paper. Around 11:30, the main senior nurse knocked on the door. Dr. Sahab, can I come in? Yes. Dr. Sahab, there is a boy and he is having severe dehydration stress, and interns and house officers are trying for last 2 hours to put a needle into any place. Can you come and just help him, otherwise that boy will die? Now that particular moment, 11:30 night, tomorrow 9 a.m., you got your main exam, which is the product of last 3 years learning and practice. While doing medical residency, you don't decide any way other than rushing to the patient. I rushed to the patient, and actually he was just slipping away. I took the scalpel from the table, cut the both medial tibula like this medial, what is this called? Above this, took whatever vein or artery I could find and put 2 cannula into this and could survive that. It took me 1 hour to prevent that life from slipping away. Once that recovered, I went to the room, slept. In the morning, I had requested the other team to come at 7 a.m. They came, I went to our hostel there, Regent Hostel, went unprepared into the exam, and I was highest scorer in that paper because of some destiny somewhere. So why I am saying this? These are the patient care outstanding examples which we must have seen in institution each and every day, felt in our heart that somebody has gone out of way to help a particular patient in the art of healing. Can we identify and recognize and give it as an example to others? Faculty as role models, one-to-one mentoring by faculty during entire length of student course include medical humanities in the curriculum. In our AIIMS Act, section 13, prescribe that medical humanities in the curriculum, and in whichever institute I go, in the IB and GB, I persuade, try to cajole and try to make a presentation. Please include medical humanities in the undergrad syllabus, because that is where the art of healing comes. Western medical institutions have included credit hours of 30 to 50 in the undergraduate and postgraduate as medical humanities in the curriculum. So, I will give one specific example of the greatest medical institution which I admire. Number one medical institution world from my perspective is Harvard Medical School, and they did this research to create great doctors. It is available online, Google, you can research. Designed innovative courses on doctor-patient relationship. This is their famous course, which has been subsequently adopted by various adult medical education in the world. And I would urge the administration and the dean, faculty and others here to look into this particular model. There are different other models of creating that curriculum of art of healing. The Harvard Medical School Cambridge Integrated Clerkship is the now name of this program. It is a patient-centered redesign to eliminate the traditional short block rotations. Instead, students should learn the core skills of doctoring by following a large panel of patients longitudinally over substantial time. Students see patients through all phases of diagnosis and treatment, including hospitalization, discharge, follow-up, even home visit in this particular internship, clerkship. Students participate in weekly case-based tutorials, integrating instruction in the basic sciences with training to address the common and important issues in medicine. In addition, the last slide, the last point, they participate in a social science curriculum that focuses on self-reflection, communication skills, ethics, population sciences, and cultural competence. I was told on way by the Deputy Director, Mr. Bishnoi, that we have got 3-4 good educational institutions here, the university, General University, and the IITs and others. We must design and network with them to develop this social science curriculum which develop this art of healing. So that was for the institute, how to make great doctors. The last section is for the students and the residents. How will you become a great doctor? Life is not about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. You can choose to be a good doctor. You can choose to be a non-good doctor. You can choose to be a great doctor. It is the choice which you empower in each and every moment, in each and every case, that will create your life. And how do you do it? As a medical professional, our last few slides. First, find your why. Why you have come to this medical profession. That's why in the opening statement I said, had somebody made this presentation to me in 1980, I would not have switched track into the bureaucracy side. I would have continued there. Think hard. What motivated you to become a doctor? social status, name and fame, money, or something else? To discover those questions, you need to go inside. I can't prescribe something from here. Close your eyes, inhale deep and feel inside your heart, your body. Passion, what do I love? What makes me happy? You must discover your passion. Profession, what I am good at. Vocation, what can I earn for? Mission, what does the world need? And inspiration, what inspires me? And these 5 subsets, the question which you will discover, leads to a wonderful concept called Ikigai in Japan. I went to Japan a few years back and studied there to understand what is the Japanese way of life. And I came across this interesting word called Ikigai in Japanese. It's a concept of a reason for being. Everyone has an Ikigai. You have got an Ikigai, a reason for your being. To find it requires a journey of self-discovery. But the search is worth it. Your Ikigai is the meaning to your life. And the Ikigai is into the subset of common set, passion, mission, profession, and vocation. Strive for excellence every moment. Aristotle says, nobody is born excellent. Everybody is born as a child of Homo sapiens sapiens. Excellence is a habit. It is an art won by training and habituation. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act but a habit. So we need to create great doctors. We need to create this excellence of greatness in each and every encounter with patients. Here in the institution, the systems and the process need to be designed like that. Now many times we confuse between success and excellence. All of you who came here from that huge, that NEET, UG, etc., have succeeded in life. No doubt about it. Success is achieving the best in the outside world, what the society recognizes as success. But excellence is inside you, that you become better than yourself, what you were yesterday and what you are today. It is being in a flow, which is an optimal state of consciousness, where we feel our best and become our best. How to get into flow state as a great medical doctor? Choose work that you love, have clear goals with specific feedback. Your skills need to be well matched to the task. Striving for something that challenges your existing skills can lead to a state of flow. Strong concentration and focused attention to the task at hand. Practice meditation. Avoid interruptions. Multitasking, other distraction will disrupt the flow state. It is essential to focus on the process and not the end state. Broaden your horizon. The more you see, the more you understand. That's why I strongly urge in every medical institution, kindly include medical humanities in the curriculum. And what do I mean by medical humanities? Arts and literature, drama and film, songs and music, biographies, sociology, psychology and cognitive sciences, probability and uncertainty sciences, philosophy and wisdom literature. Why am I emphasizing this? Humanities. Why study humanities? Art, literature, drama and music, in all their many forms, are expressions of human creativity. They reflect human joy and sorrow, human celebration and reflection. Part of what it is to be a complete human being is to participate in some form of artistic activity, either as a spectator, reader, or viewer. We need to include this in our curriculum here. Understanding this will help doctors to remember the purpose of their own art, to enable people to participate fully in life, unhampered as far as is possible by illness or disease. That's why I strongly urge, and this is unfortunate, that in India, we take medical students right after 12th. So in the high school, science stream, 11th and 12th, again science stream, knowledge based, and directly into the medical, first professional anatomy physiology. In US, they need 4-year undergrad before coming into the MD. And that 4-year undergrad provides a comprehensive education in the liberal and humanitarian sciences, which enables you to develop that perspective of art of healing. And here are few of wonderful books which I came across, which I recommend to medical institute if they ever so desire to start a syllabus of medical humanities, and if it is not started in the institution, you can do self-study. The first book, a wonderful book, The Lost Art of Healing by Bernard Lown. Anybody heard this name? Dr. Bernard Lown. Any cardiologist here? Bernard Lown. He was a famous cardiologist in Harvard. But he got Nobel Prize in Peace. He was a Nobel Prize winner. Doctors get Nobel Prize in medicine. But Bernard Lown got Nobel Prize in Peace because he set up an organization which was awarded the Peace Prize. So this is the first book which I recommend. The Lost Art of Healing. Imagine the highest level cardiologist. He had designed many stents and other cardiac instruments. And then he went into this art of peacemaking in the world. And he created an organization called Physicians Beyond Borders or something like this, for which he was given a Nobel. The organization was given the Nobel Prize and he was the founder. Bernard Lown, The Lost Art of Healing. Now you link this title with that provocative editorial of that medical journal. Has medicine become a science? If you remember that article title, Has medicine become a science? And now here is a Nobel Peace Prize winner cardiologist asking and provoking the next generation of medical professionals into the lost art of healing. Second wonderful book, again by a doctor. So what I am recommending you is mostly doctor. Only one book is by a philosopher. The Laws of Medicine. Field Notes from an Uncertain Science. Siddharth Mukherjee. Wonderful book. Third book, again a doctor of Indian origin, Atul Gawande. He written many books. I would recommend 3 books for you to study on your own or include here in curriculum. The left one, Better, A Surgeon's Note on Performance. Second, The Checklist Manifesto. And third, On Mortality, Being Mortal. Last book is by a philosopher. Wonderful book. Modern philosopher, not ancient philosopher. Practical Wisdom. Barry Schwartz and Kenneth Sharp. This book is focused on right way to do the right thing. Many times we know the right way to do the thing. Since I have been to 3 management institutes, so there they give us a profound statement by father of modern management, Peter Drucker. They say, management of doing things right. But leadership is knowing the right things to do. So what are the right things to do in a particular moment, in a particular case? Is the practical wisdom. Now if after reading all these books and materials and knowledge, etc., and this presentation address, you get somehow this overconfident that you have become wise just by one lecture, remember this quotation by Socrates. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. If you approach each and every case from this attitude, at least you will remove those 190 plus biases from your treatment. You will heal yourself or prevent yourself from those 190 plus biases. So kindly, those of you who are interested, we will share this presentation to all faculty and students in your intranet. Take a printout of this particular slide if you don't like other slides. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Start each and every case from this wisdom that you don't know anything. Let the patient tell his own story, history, and he will tell you the diagnosis. You will only feel it. If you can reduce your cognitive intervention into that intersection, your efficiency of diagnosis will increase. Those 45% cognitive errors, diagnostic errors which happen in medical setting will not happen. And this applies to my presentation also. That although I have made a presentation, that doesn't mean I have become a wisdom professor. I don't know. The humility of knowledge is the most important thing to prevent you from becoming captive of your own cognitive filter and learn and grow. This is the most important thing. The more you see the faculty who goes into the highest side, more humility you will find. The youngest junior regent, full of knowledge, just he has scored NEET PG, he diagnoses 10 diagnoses, 10 different diagnoses. The chief regent, slightly less arrogant. The assistant professor again becomes arrogant because now he has become a tenured assistant professor. It is by the humility that ultimately the professor level, he says, no, I don't know. Next 2-3 slides. I think I am not overshooting time, right? Learn from life. So far, you have been focused on text, tasks, things, or screens, or Google. But life is the biggest teacher. Life is the biggest teacher. Every person can teach you. Change your focus from text, task, things to living person in front of you. Even your patient or ward boy or assistant or nurse or nursing assistant. What is life? You ultimately think it is a network of relationships. Each and every relationship matters. Stronger are your bonds, more enrich your life. The more enriched and fulfilling your life is, a better clinician you will become, even in interacting with your patient. You cannot have a schizophrenic personality that you will be only friendly with your WhatsApp group and social media group and will not be friendly with the patient. You cannot have that schizophrenic personality. So your relationships, open your life, open your body, open your mind, open your heart, and open your soul, open your life, activate deeper level of knowing, becoming aware. Suspend your habitual patterns, see with fresh eyes, observe deeply, retreat and reflect. Redirect from the exterior, that is object, to the interior, the process to a deeper place of stillness. Letting go of old identities and intentions. Accept your experience. Allow the inner knowing to emerge. And the inner knowing is by capital word. Allowing something new to come in emerging future identity and purpose. Connect to what wants to emerge. Act wisely. Create your destiny. Listen with care to those delicate whispers, those fire-spun musings that promise to turn your unsung passions to song, urge to life that waiting wisdom hidden inside your humblest of feelings, for only in earnest humility will you find that rightful setting where your destiny can be. Every day, we have an opportunity to create a living masterpiece of yourself. The sky is not the limit. Your mind is. The greater danger for most of us lies in not setting our aim too high and falling short, but in setting our aim too low and achieving our mark. And here, in the good tradition of a physician, my prescription, to become a great doctor. Aspire to become a great doctor first of all. Believe in yourself to accomplish that dream. Compassionate, caring, develop a strong desire to learn something new every day, maintain a daily diary, what did I learn today? Equanimity in all circumstances, flow with life, gratitude, count your blessings. And last but not the least, if I have to summarize the entire address into one sentence, to be a great doctor, first be a great human being. Thank you very much. Now we can have some great questions. अब light कर सकते हैं. We can do light. Light कर सकते हैं. Now we can have interactive session. With mic. And I would expect the first year student, resident, etc. should also participate. Kindly give some more hand, those mics there. Kindly give more mics on the back side.
Sir, thank you very much for your very good and impressive presentation. I am not a doctor, I am from admin wing, sir. So my question is little bit different. Two things are there. One is passion and another is job. What I learned that your passion is from medical field. So that's why, so how do you justify between both the choices of your job? Because I am also in field, my heart goes for organic farming and I am working in the field of administration. So how do I satisfy my brain? Please guide us.
The more you will follow your person, the more you will achieve success in your present profession.
So sync should be there between both the things.
More you follow your passion, your performance will get reflected.
And sir,
like if you see in school and colleges, a boy or girl who was topper in one subject was topper in all subjects. A sportsman who is doing well in one faculty does in everything. A musician who does in everything. So that faculty gets developed. If you learn to develop a method to pursue your passion, it will get transferred to your day-to-day life.
thank you, sir. So, sir, your great experience, especially what I recall when I met you first in Ministry of Culture there. So, some glimpses were there because you are more interested in literature also. Thank you, sir.
I would expect undergrad student, because you have got a long life to go ahead. Some queries or doubts? It could be two-way. Either everything has been understood and agreed upon, or it is that Socrates that we don't know anything. So which side of this story is? The undergrad student, the MBBS first year, who was the topper of first professional MBBS student. I will identify now by this way, or you know some names. Sanjeev, any names? Okay, so if there are nobody, that means two-way. Now let me again ask, after this 1 hour presentation, has medicine become a science? And how to develop that understanding and pedagogy, here the ultimate question.
Good afternoon, sir. Very elegant lecture. So, to my experience, I'm associate professor in Department of Cardiology. To my experience, whole medical this field has become a science. Very unfortunate. Means
Field has not become science. We are teaching it like a science.
yeah.
Patient is there, and the healer is there. So that role is there of a problem, of a solution provider. Somehow we are teaching it like a science. That is the problem.
So
It has not become a science. That interaction between doctor and patient is a humanitarian interaction. We are trying to teach it from the point of view of science. That is the problem.
So, I have seen the change in the last 20 or 25 years, especially the clinical medicine part. So, the first chapter which you have described in the Hutchinson, the doctor-patient relationship, now nobody reads about this chapter. Nobody reads the Hutchinson per se also. Rather than they will go to some of the MCQ books where they will find some questions. They will have the answers of those things. And unfortunately, it's what I'm personally thinking. The doctors are now becoming, these are educated robots. And if you look at the ICUs, or if you look at the clinical departments, medicine wards, or any departments, so number of investigation. Now clinical medicine has totally turned into a lab medicine.
Yes, that's right.
It's very unfortunate. That is very sad also.
That's why somebody has said that now diagnosis shifting from ears to eye. We want to see that report.
One ventilator patient, daily ABG, VBG, CBC, every second day CBC will be done, every second day KFT will be done. Means what I mean to say, and it's not a fault of any, the system has become like this. And I will put some onus on the administration also once the doctors has been come into consumer, the responsibilities of these things. So everybody wants to get rid of that. So, the whole system has become like this. The doctor-patient relationship, that part of the clinical medicine is totally lost. Very unfortunate. But your lecture was wonderful. I'm highly inspired by it. Thank you, sir.
That's why that title by the Nobel Peace Prize winner, Last Art of Healing. So if there are no questions, we can settle.
A wonderful lecture, sir. And to add to your lecture, that we have the Harrison's textbook of medicine. And I think on the fourth line, that medicine is a science, art, and intuition. All together makes it a medicine.
Now people read Davidson in medicine. Davidson. In our time, we used to read the first textbook in undergrad also, Davidson. Harrison we used to read in MD, but Davidson in the third professor. So Davidson now people read here, no? People are reading, no?
Davidson, yes.
So to address to that question, that people are slipping that chapter altogether, the first 3, 4, 5 chapters. The first chapter in the latest edition of Davidson, because I am a medico by heart, so I still pursue the medical knowledge, at least not practice part. The first chapter in the latest edition of Davidson is about the cognitive biases which I spoke. And I was surprised by this finding, and the research which was in the first chapter of Davidson is what I learned in Harvard University. So I would, to address to that problem, let our questions and pedagogy be focused only on those 7 chapters. It is our job to focus on what is important. That is how I would say. From my point of view, it's over. Sanjeev, you can come.
Just an observation and a question. When we talk of medicine, the role of teachers, and we talk of humanities, I think that's really where the role of a teacher comes. I think you could also collect. We had such wonderful teachers, few of them used to talk so much of humanities and philosophy. Professor Pandya was there.
Yes.
His undergraduate teaching, where besides teaching you a physical science, it was more about living life, philosophizing things. I think that is a thing for the humanity more than reading. It's where the teacher really comes in at all levels, whether it is undergraduate level, postgraduate level, or a senior faculty in a department. About the humanities and the philosophy, learning a bedside manner is something.
Yes.
But also now looking at how you're going to interact and how you're going to talk and walk, dress, all these things go into the humanities aspect of it. I think that is also, as a teacher, it's very important to looking at and redefining their role and what you do with the undergraduate. That really is an impression, sir. More than reading anything, I think that impression lasts a life.
Yes, that's
Sir, one thing, the difference between the science and the art is made in the pediatrics. We are becoming as a MD, remain a doctor. When we become a parents, then a pediatrician become a real pediatrician. So that become a combination of science, arts and humanity all.
Yes, that's right.
So that is the basic learning from pediatrics part.
That's right.
Sir, I have an opinion here that certainly very inspiring and motivating talk. Thank you for giving that. why do we have to have a tug of war between science and art when it comes to healing? Without science, you cannot heal a patient. And without that art, you cannot practice that science. So somewhere our students have to learn that what we learned as science in anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and in the textbook of pathologies and medicines, that has to be combined with our humane approach and the compassion. Together they are going to be the best power of healing. Neither of them alone can. Thank you so much.
The last quotation is from William Osler again. When he was dying, I am very inspired by William Osler. So when he was dying, his close friend asked him that Dr. Osler, for what contribution you want to be remembered for posterity? And in 1885 also the the medical science education was just like today. A facts information oriented. It was only William Osler who brought the education of clinical and bedside teaching and residency into the curriculum that Johns Hopkins became a medical institute. He said he brought the medical education from classroom to clinic is the best way to understand. If you see for last 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 known history of healing profession, ultimately medicine is a healing profession. Only for last 250 or 300 years, and the modern physics, chemistry, biology, etc., have come, that our input has become much more information oriented. For last thousands of years, it was the teacher and the student and the mentorship in each and every individual case and the caring, and from which that observational learning used to develop the wisdom. If we can take away only this lesson from this will become a great institution. Thank you.
Sir, thank you for your inspiring talk. My name is Professor Puranik, Ashok Puranik. I'm a trauma surgeon, head of the Department of the Surgery. And exactly what you try to deliver, on my first interaction to any student in the post-graduation, I have a heart-to-heart talk, and I tell them that, okay, you're going to become a great healer, magician, and artist, all combination as a surgeon. Having said that, we come from the society where we face a lot of indifferent attitude, incompassionate, insensitive, So the very first beginning of our teaching has to be like the patient has to be seen in equality. We do get biased, or probably there is something prevailing where we always evaluate who is he, where he come from, and all those things gets biased, and that's how our treatment differs. That's how what we offer that differs. Ignite their passion, put fire on them, is work as a catalyst, and as director, Sarah has requested you to deliver another talk on how to really what teachers can contribute and what kind of teachers do that. So I think the society as a whole has got a responsibility. That's how we really. Thank you.
Thanks.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, as you have already told that how to become a great doctor, can you tell us how to become a great nursing officer?
Yes. In fact, it is a great question.
So, because we are nursing students and
Yes.
we have told to attend the seminar. That's
Yes,
why we are-
wonderful. Wonderful. In fact, I don't know, because I am in health ministry, so I am aware of all sub-specialties of healing profession. If I have to put one suggestion to our undergrad students of MBBS, first year, put them into ward with the senior matron and the nursing faculty there to learn the art of empathy and understanding without knowing anything of medical science. From nursing science or nursing art point of view, if people said here that medicine is 50% science, 50% art, I don't agree with that. my personal opinion after all this presentation is that medicine is 80% art, 20% uncertainty, and I don't know where the science fits in. So even in the most charitable way, that 20% uncertainty could be science, I don't know. But nursing profession is 100% art of caring. It is your ability to address the key emotional component. If you are a nursing student, physician, resident, doctor, they will come, they see the morning and evening, the chart, etc. will dictate their own interpretation of the condition and will give this. It is the nursing student and the nursing faculty and the nursing cadre which is there 24/7 by that particular patient, listening to his problem, his discomforts, his distension, etc., etc. So the best way for the nursing faculty to get inspired is actually touch the patient by hand and become, like somebody said, become a parent to become a pediatrician, become a patient yourself to feel the pain. The ultimate tradition which the founder of nursing profession, Florence Nightingale was, if you read her biography, she was caring to the soldiers in the army field. It is the 24/7 that nursing people are with the patient, and you become a family member to the patient. That is how you can become a great nursing or a great healer. There are many nurses, I don't know whether people know here, today in America, a nurse practitioner earns much more than what an MBBS earns in India. I don't know whether many people know this. Nurse practitioners in America are highest paid in the para subspecialties of healing profession after the MD doctor, but much more than MBBS from here, because that is where the real healing comes. So a great word to Florence Nightingale and the profession. That is the ultimate profession. First year MBBS student should be attached with the senior matron in the hospital to get that 2-hour evening round just by becoming a family member to the patient. It is the gateway to learn the art of empathy, sympathy, and that emotional. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you have told that doctors as a whole have less emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Because we have a psychological reasons.
To protect ourselves from that pain. In trauma, we have got a psychological defense reaction which works like immunity, that we become numb and we don't feel that pain. That is the correct statement.
Yes. Sir, I just want to know or your suggestion how to improve the emotional intelligence as well as protect ourselves from that trauma which we are facing every day with every patient.
In my opinion, just becoming aware in any moment, like I am talking to you, I am fully aware of the point of view of yours coming. That ability to understand others' point of view itself will lead to both goals. It will not lead to, like if you come to me as a pain, if I try to understand the reason why you are feeling pain, I will not feel that from my point of view. If I don't go into that aspect, there is a difference between empathy and sympathy. I don't know whether many people understand. In English, there are two words, they are commonly understood together. Actually, they are different. Sympathy, you come with pain to me, and I feel sympathy for you, and I say, okay, theek hai. But empathy is putting myself into your shoes and feeling that pain inside. So somehow just becoming aware that this pain of this particular patient is coming from which source, from where that force is coming, will prevent you not getting suffered from that pain. That is the point.
Another thing, when I was teaching in front of the entry of our IC was written, never mind what is written in the book. I think you have said the same.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you. No more questions?
So on behalf of AIIMS Jodhpur, I thank you very much, sir, for your compassionate lecture which has strung together our cognitive dimensions and made us reflect on our everyday. I hope that us with maybe, perhaps definitely so, with less emotional quotient, perhaps we all after this, all physicians will look to heal ourselves first. With this, I invite Director Sir, kindly felicitate you with a token of our appreciation, sir.
Thank you.
I thank everybody for joining us, and thank you